السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Babu Satr al-Awrat al-Muslimin. We continue our book Riyad-us Saliheen by Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayh. We begin the 28th chapter of the book, and the chapter is with regards to covering of the faults of others, and especially with regards to the covering of the faults of the believers. Imam Nawawi rahmatullah alayh brings this chapter with one verse of the Quran, and then he turns towards the ayats of the Quran. So inshallah we'll go through the first verse inshallah, and then inshallah from tomorrow evening we'll go towards the ahadith. And just to make it clear that when we talk about covering of the faults of others, there are multiple steps towards this. Sometimes it's important to disclose or inform others of the sins of others. When it comes to a person's very personal life that you may be aware of, that may needs to be, safeguarded and protected from others. So there are multiple steps. So there's no one blanket statement towards either protecting or exposing someone's actions, but inshallah we will discuss this and learn this in the next few days. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, and Imam Nawawi rahmatullahi brings this ayat of the Quran from Surah Nur, chapter 24, verse number 19. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين يحبون أن تشيع الفاحشة في الذين آمنوا لهم عذاب أليم في الدنيا والآخرة والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in this very particular verse of the Quran, indeed those who love to see indecency spread amongst the believers, meaning they love to spread words that are false and wrong and fahisha and things that are indecent, and they love to spread this amongst the people, fil ladina amanu, amongst the believers. For those individuals, lahum azabun alimun fid dunya wal akhirah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that for these individuals, they will suffer a painful punishment in this life and the hereafter. Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows and you do not know. Now, what is this ayat of the Quran telling us? This ayat of the Quran is reminding us that all of us make mistakes and sins in our lives, right? None of us are perfect. But then when it comes to individuals who brag about their sins and wrong towards others, which today a society has become where you earn the respect of others through evil and wrong and bad things. Meaning today a person feels more in or connected or respected with the amount of wrong that is exposed of their lives towards others. So the Quran is saying, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ, for those individuals who love what? أَن تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةِ, that indecency and wrong and falsehood should spread amongst the individuals. These individuals are looking for a very painful life in this world, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away sakoon and comfort from the life of these individuals. And my dear respected brothers and elders, one thing that Allah mentions to us in the Quran is that the first effect of any disobedience of Allah is that Allah takes away sakoon and comfort from the life of that individual. No matter how comfortable, no matter how pleasing, no matter how thrilling a disobedience or a sin may feel to a person, but it's not going to last for too long. For some sins, maybe few seconds, for few sins, few minutes, with few sins, few days and weeks, maybe few months. But there always comes a time that there is a downhill towards it. And the end result of every sin is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away sakoon and comfort and tranquility from the heart of that individual. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that for those individuals, and of course everyone makes sins and make mistakes, but those sins are between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from amongst the biggest mistake is when a person begins to go against the commands of Allah by exposing their own sins towards others. We'll talk about this in the hadith in 1 or 2 days, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, all of my ummah is protected and preserved to the rahmah of Allah except for those who expose their own sins to others. Where Allah keeps a curtain on their sins and they go and tell people, you know what, I have done this, I have done this, I have done this. These are individuals who are deprived of the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So going back to this ayat of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in Surah Nur, verse number 20, chapter number 24, verse number 19, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُحِبُّونَ أَن تَشِيعَ الْفَاحِشَةَ فِي الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Indeed, for those individuals who love to propagate indecency and wrong and fahisha and evil within the believers, for these individuals, they should remember that they have painful life in this world and painful doom on the day of Qiyamah. And Allah says He knows and you do not know. So, my dear respected brothers and elders, the point to take back, inshallah, from this very verse of the Quran is that if someone was to be involved in something wrong as an individual, we're talking about ourselves first and foremost, then that sin should remain between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should truly and sincerely seek the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It should not become a public information that I've done this and I've accomplished this and I've done this, but it should be with remorse and guilt towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because nadamat, remorse and guilt, is the first step towards tawbah. When there is no nadamat, when there is no remorse over an action, then there is no steps towards tawbah as well. So this ayat of the Quran again is a reminder for us that for those who expose and love to spread indecency, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, for them is meant for them a most difficult life in this world and on the day of Qiyamah. And Allah says, I know and they do not know. May Allah protect us and safeguard us and allow us to do what is correct and right in our lives, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu.
So,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, कैसे हैं?
एक सवाल है, ये मगरिब से पहले जो दो नमाज की रकातें पढ़ते हैं, मैं मलबिल